Hello everyone, welcome back. I figured I'd get out here and talk a couple of minutes before I pan on to my event that I recorded this week, or last week. By the time I get this thing uploaded, I ran a Porsche Cup event at the infamous Nürburgring. The course layout was the actual Nürburgring and the GP track that's combined. So I'm running the Porsche Cup, and I did 3 laps. And what's really fascinating about iRacing is that they will have events, special events, endurance events with team events that actually mirror real world racing events. So, in real world, there is a Porsche Cup event that's at the Nürburgring. So this week I ran this event, and it's like I noticed in this session that I was in, I saw a couple of teams. I saw a team that I was actually in the mix with, and I have a strong suspicion that they were probably smurfing a little bit because they're fast. It's like they probably spend a lot more time than I do in sim racing. But I noticed that I was actually battling with a couple of guys. They all had the same liveries on their cars, so I assumed that they were training for the event that took place last Saturday. Actually, I did this event earlier in the week. I'm actually gaining some iRating, so I'm in higher splits now. So I started the race. I think it may have been 23rd place. It may have been 19th. I'm not really sure, but I started at the back of the pack. I think there were a total of 28 cars, and I ended up in 5th place, which is really good. Most of it's due to attrition because there are a lot of people. Nürburgring is a very high incident track. A lot of people in sim racing, they drive reckless and they make a lot of mistakes. So I typically drive a little bit more conservative, and I try to get a good pace, and I try to hit all my apexes. And I really typically drive on the side of caution, and it's worked well for me so far. So I'm sure that as I go up the iRating chain ladder, I'm going to get in much tougher splits where I'm going to be racing against guys that actually have a fast pace, but they also don't make mistakes. So, but I'm just enjoying my time now, running in the lower splits. But I did really well, and I ran the Porsche Cup, and the Porsche Cup car is starting to be a favorite of mine because they actually redid the physics on this car a couple of releases ago, so to include traction control and ABS, which I love because before the Porsche Cup car did not have ABS, so I typically lock up a lot of times in the car, especially coming out of straightaways. So since they revamped the physics, I've been running a lot of Porsche Cup events, and actually there's a couple of content creators that are out here that are real world racers, and they have actually stated that the Porsche Cup and iRacing feels nearly identical to the real car. So to me, that piqued my interest because that's my whole purpose of doing the sim racing. That's why I have this elaborate rig with VR and the motion and the belt tensioner, because I want to have the most realistic experience as I can. So that I may not be the fastest, but I do have some real world racing experience in dirt bikes. So I try to take some of my racecraft from the real world over into sim racing, and it seemed to work well for me pretty good. I didn't use Trophy AI this week because Trophy AI did not support the Nürburgring. They supported the GP track, but not the Nordschleife, where it has like 170 plus turns. So I just used my knowledge of the track, and I just ran a pretty good pace, and I did pretty well. So I'll probably be uploading more videos soon with Porsche Cup events because it's getting to be a favorite of mine. So anyway, guys, enjoy my video on my small channel here, and I hope to see you next time.